Oh boy. Welcome back everybody to another video. The Canadians lose 7-0. It was a touchdown for the Dallas Cowboys there. Even though it's the Dallas Stars over the Montreal Canadiens. Yeah, that's tough. I said in my last video, I said, what are the Canadians going to do? How are they going to respond to a 5-1 loss at home against the LA Kings? And apparently this is that. So definitely disappointing there. But it's the score doesn't say everything about this game. I feel like I think that the biggest thing that I saw that this game is the Canadians played a great first period. If you go back and watch, the first period, all that kind of stuff, the Canadians had great chances. They had a lot of, opportunities that could have gone their way and just didn't. And then obviously, we take a penalty and, the Dallas Stars convert on that and and a good power play for them. It's tough. I feel like the call that we got was a little weak, but it is what it is. He did. Kirby Doc did grab him and hook him, or hold him, but so like we ended the period down 1-0. But I genuinely thought that, like, after the first period, I feel like the Habs deserved to be in the lead. They deserved to be winning that game, and then it just seemed like, from that point on, we get another one goes in, Esa Lindell scores, through a screen into the second period, and it just felt like the Canadians just gave up. It felt like, that they were like, you know what, like, we're already down. There's nothing we can do. We can't get back into this game, and it's over. That's how it felt to me, and I feel like that's just unacceptable. You can't even blame, like, everybody is gonna, because this is the way that the fan base is right now for whatever reason. The everybody's gonna be like, oh, Dobesh sucks now. He's bad. He's not making saves. But like I genuinely challenge you to go back and watch any of the goals that Dallas scored today and tell me that a goalie should have made a save on any of them. I think every single goal that Dallas scored tonight was a goal that it just came from defensive lapses or just straight up great plays from the Dallas Stars. I think that's the way that it goes. I think the biggest thing that got us behind that allowed Dallas to score goals is the amount of times that we allowed odd man rushes the other way because our defense are trying to generate offense. And I feel like this is something that has been a problem for the Canadians recently, but like there are too many times where the Canadians defense is trying to pinch, they're trying to stay up in the neutral zone and make plays that generate offense, and all of a sudden, and the Dallas Stars are a great team, they're a great offensive team, and like they're all of a sudden, like we don't get the pinch that we want, and then it's a 3-on-2 or a 2-on-1 or whatever the other way, and then like credit to Dallas, literally I shit you not, pretty much every single offensive opportunity that Dallas had tonight, they scored on, which is tough. It's like they had literally 19 shots and 7 goals on those 19 shots. They pretty much capitalized on every single dangerous chance or not even dangerous chance that they had the entire game. And in the contrary, the Canadians did the opposite of that. So that's the biggest thing. I feel like the defense is trying to play offense, and it makes sense, because we have a bunch of offensive defensemen and we want to play offense. I get it, but then like you have guys like Alexandre Carrier, who is like the only defensive defenseman we have on this team, and like the Robertson goal, the one where he goes, upstairs on the back door there, or on the backhand, like that goal goes in because Carrier, despite there being 3 Dallas players coming into the zone with the puck, he decides to make a stand on the blue line as one of only 2 defensemen back, and he's our defensive defenseman. I don't understand why that decision is being made. Like, I understand that we want to play offense and that we're down a couple goals. We want to see what we can do to generate something the other way, but we also have to play defense, and I feel like if the defense just didn't let up those chances, I think we'd be in a better position. But just generally speaking, it just felt like the Canadians had a great start and then got discouraged and then just stopped skating. It just felt like they gave up early. They felt like they were out of it and they just stopped skating. They stopped playing, and that's that. Like it's just disappointing. It's frustrating. I would love to see Martin St. Louis do something about that. It seemed like, there was a couple of lineup changes, obviously, because, as we'll talk about later, Alex Newhook left the game early with an injury. But you would love to see a timeout being called at some point, when Dallas, Dallas scores 2 times in like a minute and 30 seconds or whatever. You'd like to see a timeout be called, maybe give the guys a bit of a talking to or a breather or whatever. But it just seems like we were pretty content to roll over and just take, anything that the Dallas Stars were going to give us on our home ice, in a game where we're coming off another game where we got thumped. So it's just really disappointing to see, and it genuinely felt like nobody even cared after the first couple of goals went in, and that's really frustrating to watch. And at one point, you just have to kind of laugh at it after a certain point. Like it wasn't even close. Like it's a bad game when the commentators are in the second period or like early third period talking about like the next game coming up for the Canadians or the next game coming up for Dallas or whatever. It's like that game was over in a lot of ways after the first goal from Dallas. It just felt like as soon as we got scored on, our hopes to win the game, our drive to win the game just completely got deflated, and we just stopped playing. And that's really frustrating. And I can definitely say that part of that could be, guys, being in their heads a little bit, like about Newhook being injured. I know they're a very tight group, obviously. They care a lot about each other, and maybe that had an effect in the way that they were playing, just being worried for their teammate. And I totally understand that, but even still, it's just like you got a job to do out there, and it seemed like pretty much nobody wanted to put in the extra effort to make it happen. It's just frustrating. I feel like yeah, like that's the gist of it. And like it's just like like some guys were playing, they played to the final whistle in a lot of ways, but it just felt like we couldn't get anything going. And I think one of the biggest things on our offensive side that just didn't work out at all is just the fact that almost every opportunity that the Habs had to score either missed the net or got blocked. Like, I'm honestly surprised looking back that we even had 23 shots on net at all. Like, it was absolutely incredible. I think the only actual good chance that the Canadians had that the Smith had to make a really good save on was that, Demidov one-timer from the slot. Like, Matheson made a really nice pass, gave the Demidov. He made a really nice, one-timer effort, and the Smith had to make a really great save, and he was there to do that. And he played a great game, obviously. But, like, there was so many chances. Like, Demina had another one that he put over the net. Caulfield had a couple he put over the net. Slavkovsky either, like, whiffed on shots or put them over the net. And nobody hit the net tonight. And it's honestly astounding that we even had 23 shots considering that. It's just, we got to be better at capitalizing off our chances. And I think we got to look at the way that Dallas played this game and say, hey, those guys know how to capitalize when we give them chances or when other teams give them chances. Like, we got to find a way to actually put pucks on net. And I think another part of that is just it feels like the Canadians are always looking for the perfect play. They're always looking to find the backdoor feed or the tap in or the tip or whatever. Like, just put the puck on net. We've scored one goal in the last 2 games combined. Like, we have to find a way to put the puck on net. Otherwise, we're never going to score. Like, that's just the way it goes, and it's just, yeah. It's just there's a lot to you'd love to be able to say, hey, let's just forget about this game, and we'll move on. But if we forget about this game, we're going to run into another really hot team in Boston on Saturday, and we're going to get rolled again. Like, we need to find a way to turn things around and get back to the way we were playing in September and October. Because if we continue to play the way that we're playing right now, we're going to get thumped, and we're going to drop all the way to the bottom of the league because these guys, like, they had good opportunities, they had good, a good first period, but it goes back to the same thing we've been saying the whole year. We got to play 60 minutes, and we didn't even come close to playing a 60-minute performance there. We played a solid 20 or maybe like 18, and then that was it. That was all we had. And then when Dallas started pulling away, and we got discouraged. So that's just really frustrating. And then obviously moving on to Newhook, really unfortunate the way that it did not look great at all. I think you can sit here and speculate and be like, a desktop doctor if you want to be and look at the way it was. From my opinion, it looked like some sort of ankle. It looked like his ankle kind of went out to the outside a little bit further than what is normal. So we'll have to see what happened there. I think we can hope that it's not a bone or fracture related issue, and that it's some sort of ligamentous thing. But only time will tell on that, obviously. But I would assume that he'll miss a few weeks, few months maybe, which is would really like blows. Yeah, really blows because Newhook has been one of the better players on our team through these past couple months here. Like he brings such a speed element, and he's been sharp and put in big goals when he's had to. So really tough and really disheartening to see him go out, considering the way that he's been playing this year and what he brings to this team. So I wish him the best, obviously, and I hope that his diagnosis is favorable for his return as soon as possible. But I wouldn't necessarily hold my breath. Obviously, I'm not going to speculate, but I would expect him to be out for a couple months, unfortunately. So we'll see what happens. And that just adds to the long list of Montreal Canadiens injuries going back years and years to the start of this whole rebuild. So really, really unfortunate. I wish him the best, obviously, and it just it really just sucks. And I do think that part of that is, part of him going down is what caused the deflatedness of the team's play and the end of this game and the frustration that came with that. And it's tough, and I think we're just gonna have to find the next man up, obviously. So somebody from the Rocket is gonna have to come up. I think Laurent Dauphin he's been absolutely incredible in the AHL right now. He's sitting near the top of the league leaderboards and in points right now. He's got 8 goals, so he could definitely be the guy to get the call up. I think what is maybe more likely is that either Owen Beck or Joshua Waugh gets the call up because they know them a little bit better. But I would like to see same thing with the goalie. They play the hot hand in forward to get a guy who's scoring a bunch of goals. And obviously I understand they might not want to hamper what the Laval Rocket are doing right now, and take away what is maybe their best goal scorer right now. But I would like to see somebody get an opportunity, maybe somebody we haven't seen before, get a little spark going for the team. So obviously really unfortunate that Newhook is out for a while, but it would be interesting, definitely interesting to see like who gets called up and if that gives the Canadiens a spark, because they definitely need one right now. That's for dang sure. So that'll be interesting to see and how that kind of shakes things up. And in terms of shakeups, also I'll be really interested to see how Martin St. Louis changes the lineups as a result of these last couple games here, because we just the lineups aren't working right now. They have been, and obviously, you don't want to change something too reflexively, but this is 2 games in a row now where it just feels like nobody is getting anything done right now, and nobody's really playing to their strengths. Like it looks like there's too many times where it looks like Slavkovsky is trying to is being put in a position to put everything on his back and try to figure that out, when Slavkovsky is just straight up not that player. He's the guy who wins the battles and sets up his teammates to produce, right? And there's too many times where that's not happening. Obviously, you look at the way Nick Suzuki is playing, and it's clear that he is definitely dealing with something that is putting him at less than 100% strength out there, and that's definitely hampering that top line a little bit. Just the fact that he's not really able to have the speed that he normally has here, and that's definitely a tough thing. So, and with Newhook out, the speed of this team has taken a huge hit as well. So it'll be interesting to see who gets called up, how the lineups get shaken up. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Demidov. I know that Martin St. Louis has tried him with Demidov tried Demidov with the top line a few times. So it'll be interesting to see if he tries that, if he tries to break up that top line. I don't know if he will. I don't know if it's even really the right idea, because I feel like those guys just have a lot of chemistry together. But we can talk on this for hours. I think it'll definitely be an interesting decision. I just feel like something needs to be done to shake things up a little bit, because it just doesn't really feel like anybody's got the jump right now. Obviously, both of our goalies a little lacking in confidence at the moment. So it's just definitely some stuff to consider, and it'll be interesting to see what the lineup changes go on. But yeah, that's what we got for this. It's just the story is exactly the same. I mean, like, you have to learn from this. Absolutely, you have to learn from this. But you gotta, you gotta be able to move on past this, and you gotta get back to the way that we were playing. When we played Utah not that long ago, right? Like, we can't let this linger on, because we got teams fighting for our spot here. I'm not sure what the standings look like at the moment, but Boston has won like a lot of games in a row. Montreal's still sitting at top of the Atlantic, but it's a really close race. I think Ottawa and Boston are both tied for first. It's a three-way tie with Montreal for that top spot, and we got Boston coming to Montreal on Saturday, so it's gonna be a huge game. And I think if the Canadians aren't awake and they aren't ready for it, they play like they played the back two periods of today's game, then we may as well not even suit up. Like at that point, like, what are we even doing? We need to get back to the way that we played in the first period today. Like, I think that's a silver lining, right? You look at that first period, it was a great period. We played really well. You look back to Utah, and we look back to the way we playing in October. Like, we playing well. Like, we got to find a way to get back to that. And obviously, we're gonna be down a man, but we got to find a way to get back to the way that we were playing, the high flying offensive game, and then shape up our defense a little bit. I like that's really what it is. I have faith in both of our goaltenders. They can get it done. I know it. I have faith in both of those guys. We just got to get back to our offense. We got to get our confidence back. Got to get that mojo back. That's really all I have to say for today. Really tough, frustrating loss, but here's to a really good Saturday game and a little bit of a more positive attitude going into that one. So, yeah, here's to some goals, and yeah, but that's all. That all remains to be seen. So that's all I got for you today. I will see you guys after a big win. Cross our fingers on Saturday.